talk a little bit about some rumblings about all these old timers are coming back. So to fight. So I heard about a couple of new ones. So I'll let you know at the end of the episode. So all right, guys. Well, again, thanks for coming out. Thanks a lot for the likes, the shares, all the stuff. Everything's been really fantastic. We've been really having a great time with it. So I hope you guys are going to like this one. I really like this guy. So tonight, guys, we're going to talk about Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo. All right, so he has a nickname. They all call him the Iron Man, or his buddies, and the boxing community calls him Iron Man. So he's a fantastic fighter. I really like him, and we'll go over a bunch of his stuff today, and we'll see how if you guys like him, or if you're not, we'll see how it goes. So, anyways, he was born May 19th, 1990. That makes him 30 years old. He was born in Lafayette, Louisiana, but I understand he grew up in Houston, Texas. Okay. He also has a brother who is a professional fighter, and they are identical twins. Interesting. His name is Jermall, and they're best buddies. So if you want to check out Jermell or Jermall, check them both out. They're really good fighters. Tonight we're going to be talking about Jermell. So Jermell's career started in 2007, and he is actively a present fighter. He's in the light middleweight division. Now, light middleweight, I always wondered, light middleweight, that sounds interesting. But I found out today that I was doing some research about that, and that the IBF does not call the light middleweights light middleweight. They call them junior welterweights. And the WBA and the WBC call them super welterweights. So apparently he's in the light middleweight division, right? It's 154 pounds. So that's interesting how they all have to be different. I don't know why they just can't just have one division and that's that. So, but I guess they all want to be different. So presently, Jermell is ranked the best active light middleweight in the world, which is an amazing accomplishment in itself. He's been fighting he started very young. His father was a pro fighter, and he got both boys into the boxing game, and they've both excelled right up to be both becoming world champions. So that's the fighting has come right from dad all the way up, and obviously they've been doing something right because they're both world champions. So I really like both of them. Guys, check them out. They're really, really good, both these brothers. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Jermell today. So he is currently the unified light middleweight champion of the world, unified, holding the WBC, WBA, IBF, and Ring magazine titles. So he's almost got them right across the board, other than the WBO. But the WBO is not really recognized as part of the unification. I think it should be, but apparently they don't believe that it should be part of a unified title situation. So that's interesting. He had a great amateur career. He had 64 fights total, which is quite a number of amateur fights. He had 56 wins, fantastic, with only 8 losses. So that in itself is a really, really good amateur career. And in 2005, he won a bronze medal at the 2005 Junior Olympics, and he was only 15 years old when he did that. So he's been a champion from a very, very young age. So we'll go into his pro totals now. His pro totals are he has 35 total fights, of which he has 34 wins. Wow, that's amazing. 34 wins out of 35 fights. He's only got the 1 loss. He's got 18 knockouts. That gives him a knockout percentage of 51%. He does have power in both hands. He really does. He's a very, very aggressive fighter, which I like about him. He cuts off the ring really well. He uses everything in there to his advantage. He's got good footwork. His boxing IQ is really high, but he definitely uses his jab well, and he's got power, like I say, in both hands. Even though he only has the 18 KOs, some of his knockouts are really, really flashy knockouts. So, and he's going to be having some fights hopefully later this year, and then we'll see him again. So, following in 2015, he won his first light middleweight title of the world, and that was following the retirement of Floyd Mayweather Jr. So he basically it was vacant, and he won the title in 2015. And just recently, he had a fight, and he won the unified title by knockout over Jetson Rosario. That was September 26, 2020. So that was a really good fight. That he took those 3 belts from Rosario, of which he had the WBC belt already. So now he has the 4 belts. Now, as far as I can see, between him and his brother, they're both really. His brother is undefeated as well. So they're both very, very, very good boxers. The one thing that I've noticed going forward is he's having a hard time. He really wants to get a big fight together. Now, he doesn't want to move up in weight category, up into the 160. His brother recently moved up to 160, and he's not going to be fighting his brother. They've always said that they will never fight each other. So they really look out for each other. Basically, they're best friends. So I don't know if he doesn't move up in categories. He's basically fought most of the guys at that level. I mean, Canelo's moved up. The big fighters have moved up in weight class. So the one guy I was looking at, though, that could be a potential opponent this year for him in an upcoming title fight would be a former unified champion himself, and that would be Jarrett Hurd. Jarrett Hurd. So he doesn't, like I say, he doesn't really, they don't really have a plan for him as of yet, but I'm going to keep my eye on him, and I hope you guys do too. He's talked about Manny Pacquiao and all these different guys and Canelo and stuff, but I really don't think that's going to happen in the near future. But maybe a fight against Jarrett Hurd might be something that might be in his wheelhouse. So the notable fights that I watched recently that I've seen him in over the last few years that I really liked was Charlo versus Demetrius Hopkins. Fantastic fight. Charlo versus Charles Hatley. He had a fantastic knockout in that fight. So if you want to watch that, Charles Hatley. Charlo versus Austin Trout. And Tony Harrison. He fought Tony Harrison twice. Those fights were amazing. The one loss he did have was the first fight against Tony Harrison. But he revenged that in a rematch and won his title back. And then recently he fought, like I say, September 2020, he fought Jetson Rosario from the Dominican Republic, and he won the fight. An amazing, crazy enough, it was around the 8th round, and he threw a body shot that basically knocked Rosario on his back, and Rosario was having a really hard time breathing and getting up. And so that'll tell you, his body punching is improved immensely over the years. So he's the whole package. He's a unified world champion. Like I say, he's been calling out guys, but nobody seems to be taking the bait, and they can't really find him a big fight. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully he fights later this year, and I'll definitely be looking out for him, and I hope you guys will be too. So thanks again for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Take care of yourselves tonight. Well, have yourself a good evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you very much, and have yourself a good night.